Hi, everyone. Welcome to Write Our Way, which will be hosted by fictional writer Patrick Starks. If you have not read the description below, these podcast discussions will be surrounded around writing short stories and novels, discussions of storytelling through film, using comparisons from the 80s and the current movies we see today, as well as discussions about how these movies impact our lives, or if not, why. If you are a writer, a reader, or neither of the two, who is looking for some inspiration, a little motivation, something that will get you excited about writing, something that will help you develop and feel confident in your own style, then you have come to the right place. My friends, welcome to Write Our Way.
Hello everyone, welcome to Write Our Way. My name is Patrick Starks, and today we will be talking about leveling up characters in our stories. For those of you who are gamers like myself, I know you will especially enjoy this. I really wanted to speak on this topic with you all today because I was watching a video one day which was discussing video games compared to real life and how we can level up our lives the same way as we do the characters in video games, but not really. It was a really cool video. I forgot what it was called, but just going off of that, the reason I found this really interesting was because it brought me to a thought of, can we level up the characters in our stories in the same fashion? I mean, when we think about this, our protagonist typically goes through their journey as usual, but what is our protagonist really learning, or what skill traits are they picking up, or what items are they picking up that's going to aid them in the success of their journey? And that's such a big part of a story that I feel that really pushes it into motion. And I just really found this fascinating, just the whole leveling up your character. I thought that's such a good way to look at it, especially for gamers. For those of you who are into stories about, wizards and witches, this could mean something like your character learning a few spells that they didn't know of and taking those spells and skills to the end of their journey and basically finishing off the antagonists in their story, or some type of aura or barrier that whatever is blocking them, they can take those skills and really use it as their advantage. I believe it's important that we as writers really think about not just what's standing in the way of our character or even what motivates them. We should also be asking ourselves, what is our character learning that will help them reach their end goal? It's like, who are they learning from, or what did they learn from? Maybe it was something that happened, like a type of an event that traumatized them or pushed them to a level where they brought something out of themselves, where they learned a new trait. I mean, a good example of this would be something like anime, hands down. I mean, we've all seen anime where the character just powers up insanely because of something happening to one of their friends or family members, or even wife, spouse, whatever happens, they usually elevate in some form or fashion. Now, I mean, I can't leave the antagonist out, because the antagonist as well has a journey, and they will most likely be picking up skills to stop the protagonist in succeeding in whatever they're trying to accomplish. And my friends, this is where the fun begins. We're literally talking about lining up all these attributes from protagonist to antagonist and seeing how they clash. And of course, we're going to have the protagonist win, but I mean, it is your story. Again, I'm not opposed to the antagonist winning as well. I actually like it when I hear a story and the antagonist succeeds and the protagonist doesn't, because sometimes the antagonist isn't all that bad. I mean, they can sometimes come up as an anti-hero as the story, drifts more into a deeper part of how they became who they are. But let me take a step back to the video game language of leveling up, because I honestly never thought of applying this type of thought process into my writing until now. Now, I will say that the writing aspect of this is going to be a little different than how it's portrayed in a video game or how it's portrayed in our actual lives. Unlike the video games we play, we aren't exactly playing through our characters in just a few hours. As with the story, it will still have to play closely to our actual lives. So leveling up a character in a story can take quite the build up before we actually get to the action and the suspense. On the contrary, the story is not at all our story either. I mean, sure, we write it, so it's got to be ours, right? But I mean that the story is not your actual life story. That's what I'm trying to say. Leveling up characters in books versus the last two scenarios that I talked about, it's going to be a little bit more in the middle. So in order to achieve what we want to achieve, we then need to take from video games and our real lives to really mesh it into leveling up a character in a book or a story. I hate to say story because video games have stories and our lives are stories, so I just kind of make it clear we're talking about a book. For example, let's say our protagonist meets someone down the road of their journey who only knows how to speak sign language. At first, our character doesn't know or understand this person and what they need, but eventually, after being around them for so long, or just a few weeks, our protagonist begins to pick up on how to actually use sign language. Now, I'm sure some of you are asking, how the hell does this level up our character? What does this have to do anything with our character? Well, let me explain. Basically, let's say that our character picks up sign language and they go down their journey to the next scene or the next level, essentially, and they meet somebody again, but this person is like pretty much a gatekeeper. They're the one thing standing in their way from achieving this new skill trait or this item that they might need. And so because this person doesn't really speak, thankfully our protagonist, has learned sign language from the previous person that they met that will aid them into getting past that barrier. Just like a video game, guys. And it can be applied to our stories. It's insane when I thought of this, and I'm just letting you know right now that it will work. If you're a gamer, you can write a story. You shall write a story. I would like to see that because I know that this methodology works. And see, if the protagonist never met the man before, then this would have made the protagonist's journey extremely difficult, and they probably would have never got past the gatekeeper, and they never would have learned a new skill, and they would have, turn back around like some of us do in life and have to start over and figure out where to go from there. But not to say that's a bad thing. I mean, again, we're leveling up our character, but again, it still needs to be pretty close to real life. So I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think that'd be really great to see that in the story, have it where the character didn't get what they needed and they had to go back and then, probably miraculously pick up that skill or a different type of skill they needed, and then go back and get through the barrier they were trying to get through originally. Now, this is just an example. I mean, there's so many things and so many different elements that you can give your protagonist throughout the journey that will keep our readers wanting more as they follow the character through it all. So just to wrap things up and basically break down how we're going to get our characters to the leveling up point, I would say first we need to know where the character is located, like I spoke about in previous podcasts, and then we need to know how the environment is in that location and how it affects our character. Then we tie it into the motivation, and then we try to figure out, what's their motivational factor and what's pushing them to whatever they're trying to go. And yeah, I guess that would basically be off of just the emotion they get from the environment already, like how the environment's already impacted them, like I said before. So then when we get them on moving towards their journey or moving deeper into their journey, this is where we start applying the skill sets and we start to outline what are they going to be getting? Are they going to be getting objects like items, or are they going to be getting some type of skill within themselves? It can be anything. We just need to make sure that they're leveling up some way in the story as they're being motivated and pushed through the story emotionally. And to finalize it all, we need to do is figure out like how the character feels at the end of it. Did they win? Did they lose? Are they in a good mood or are they in a sad mood? What's the outcome of their standing as the story ends, and why? I think it's a really important question to ask because we need to know What did our protagonists or even our antagonists learn? And are those learnings motivating our audience in a certain way? Because again, everyone, we want to leave our readers with something to take with them. We don't want to leave them empty-handed. So it's best you ask that question at the end, and I promise you, your readers will be happy and they will feel, like it was a fresh cup of water, alkaline water, something like that. But they will be happy and they will be thankful that you did add that part to the story. As always, everyone, it was a pleasure speaking with you all. Stay tuned for episode 10. We'll be talking about the slogan, "Become a Child Again, Imagine My Friends." I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering what that means, so I will be going into a discussion of what I mean by "Become a Child Again, Imagine My Friends." Again, everyone, have fun with your writing. Love it. Learn more of it. Enjoy it. And again, stay tuned for the next episode, and also be sure to stop by the website, paycarc.com. That's PACHARC.com. I will have another short story up. It will be called Fruit Loops. So you already know how that's going to go. It's going to be a really interesting story, a little twist that I put on the toucan. So you guys will see that as soon as this podcast is up. Again, love you all, and don't forget, become a child again. Imagine my friends.
Hope you all enjoyed and had something to take away from today's discussion. To find out more about our lovely host, Patrick Starks, and even some of his writing works, go to www.paycarc.com. That's www.paycarc.com. Stay tuned for the next episode of Write Our Way, and have yourself a fantastic day.